And that's the whole thing, is you just have to be aware of your limitations.
And you're not trying to prove anything to anybody.
That's right.
That's why we say hike your own hike.
That's right. You hike your own hike. And
Welcome to the Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks podcast. Join us on a journey through parks and trails where nature's beauty, cultural stories, and historical legacies come together. Howdy, everybody. I don't know why I look to her whenever I start this, but I guess it's just to make sure she's not giving me a face like, don't do it!
She wants to make sure I'm still here.
It'd be hard for you to sneak out of this room, I'm just saying.
She wants to make sure I haven't ditched her.
I'm sorry. It'd be hard for you to sneak out of our studio. Yeah, and you better not ditch me. Anyhow, I am Susan with Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks.
And I'm Monica.
And together we explore the rich intersection of nature, history, and culture.
She loves that rich intersection.
That's my latest thing I'm hooked on. But today's episode, we're doing a trail mix.
We're doing a trail mix.
You know which trail mix this is?
Number 3.
Number tres.
Yep.
I don't know how else to say it, but
Numero
3.
3.
That's it. That's the one.
Numero 3.
Because, again, we do these trail mixes because we gather up questions that you guys have, things that y'all are commenting on, and to try and put something together to go, okay, let's catch these little odds and ends that didn't necessarily go into an actual episode of a place.
Yes. And if we don't answer your question on this trail mix, we will have another one. We have a few that we're not going to be able to get to this time, but we will get to them.
We will, yeah. So again, keep putting your comments down there, or places that you want to cover, us to cover, things you want us to cover, and we'll be happy to pick this up either in an episode or in a trail mix.
And we're also on Facebook. You can send us a direct message on there.
You can DM us there.
Instagram, you can DM us there. So there's a lot of ways to get hold of us.
Yeah, so call us. All right.
I don't know about that. But
So one of the questions that had come up was about what precautions should you take whenever you're solo hiking? Because I think, Monica, you and I have both done solo hiking.
Yeah. And that's a great question because I actually prefer to be a solo hiker.
There's something about it that I like to, I don't know, I think it's just less peer pressure.
It's less, I feel like I'm not running to catch up with anybody and I'm not getting ahead of anybody. And if I want to stop and take a breather, I can. And I sometimes I like the silence. I don't necessarily want to talk while I'm hiking. Yeah, and nothing bad about it. It's just that if you haven't noticed, I'm a little heavy.
What?
So yes, I know you can't tell, but
The camera hides it.
The camera does hide it. I lose 10 pounds on the camera, so. But sometimes if I feel like really kind of pushing myself, then I want to push myself, and I don't want to talk while I'm doing that because I'm all out of breath and I sound like crap when I do it, okay? There's sometimes when I want to, check some elevation and get up there and just really focus on that, and I just don't want to focus on anybody else when I'm doing it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of, I get that too. I don't like to have that kind of pressure hiking with other people necessarily. But then I have also discovered that sometimes when I solo hike, I'm a point A to point B girl. I know, surprise. But okay, it says I need to get there in 2 miles. I'm on it. It's like, and I have to remind myself to really hike my own hike and chill and do my own hike. To stop and take the pictures, to stop and do whatever you need to do to take a breather or whatever. So, but there are things that I do. If I'm hiking solo, I will not do something I think is going to hugely test my physical abilities.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something that's in my safe wheelhouse.
Yes.
Because I am the only one that can help myself.
Exactly. So, in line with that, if you are a solo hiker or you're interested in solo hiking, the first thing that you need to do is prepare. You need to prepare by checking the website. Both of us use All Trails. Get on All Trails and look at the types of trails in the area that you want to hike in. See what other people comment on All Trails. That's why we love All Trails, because people will comment.
I am so thankful for the people who do comment about the condition of the trails, because it really does help you prepare.
It really does, because you can have a moderate trail, something that's marked moderate, and somebody will comment and say, it was all flat, but there's one section that's like super, fast elevation, and that's really where the moderate comes in.
Yeah.
Or you can have someone that says that's a moderate trail, but holy cow, the ground is so uneven, you're going to have a hard time navigating this part. So it's a great resource, but that's not the only resource. Obviously, you can check with there's Facebook, that sometimes there's groups that are aligned with certain hiking trails or parks, state park websites, national park websites, all
Your
those
rangers
places.
at all your parks,
Yes.
they're going to give you the conditions of those places.
Yes.
But I always find too, you want to talk to them because I remember we were at, I can't remember, I think it was Pinnacles National Park, that they asked, we had come down from one of the hikes and they were like, hey, did you happen to see these two people? We're like, I saw these two people. And they're like, well, we can't find these two people. They had checked and said they were going to go do this hike. And it's like, it's that kind of thing. They remember, and then they're, somebody calls and says, hey, I haven't heard from so-and-so.
Right.
And it's like, they're going to go out and, be curious and looking for you to see if they can find you. But
Most definitely.
it's like letting other people know that you're out there hiking, and particularly MPS folks, if it's kind of one of those, isolated type of areas.
Yes. There's a lot of MPS hikes that require you to actually sign in and check in.
Particularly for backcountry
Right,
hiking.
right. So you definitely want to prepare, and then other than doing research on where you're going, you want to prepare what you're going to take.
Yes.
If it's going to be a short hike, and by short hike we mean a mile, 2 miles at the most, short hike, then you want to just make sure you take stuff that you need for that hike and that you let somebody know where you're going. Actually, you need to let somebody know where you're going no matter how long the hike, okay? Especially if you're going someplace that's a little bit remote. But preparing with whatever you're going to need, mostly, shorter hikes, you're just focusing on water, maybe
snacks.
a first aid kit, maybe some snacks. Yeah, snackies.
Well, because, it's still a precaution. You have to have food.
Yeah, you do. I agree. And if you're taking a longer hike, well, then you want to take different things.
Yeah.
And we've got some checklists on our website that you can go in there, and they're downloadable and they're free, and they're broken down by the length of the hike that you want to do. And I know that we have had somebody did comment, because I mentioned if you're solo hiking, and especially if you're doing something in the back country or that's longer, you leave a note on your car saying where you were going, which trail you're going, when you left, when you expect to return, so that if somebody can't find you, they know exactly where you are based on your car, and they know where to go look for you. And we did have a comment that said, well, yeah, we're going to let people know where, that we're gone so they can take our car.
Right.
Which,
that's a good point.
It's a good point. It is a risk, but...
But I think the underlying thing there is just making sure someone knows where you went.
Right.
Because when someone else in your, group of people, your family back home or whatever, recognizes that they haven't heard from you, they can start tracing back with people that on where could you have been,
Yes.
to at least start narrowing down where you're at.
Exactly.
So, but the other thing I like to do, especially when I solo hike, is to drop a pin on my Google Maps to make sure that at least I've dropped a pin that I can at least always know how to get back to, because sometimes you're out on a hike by yourself and you're like, I've lost my way, and at least dropping a pin will help.
That's a great tip. Not just dropping a pin. And this is something that we're going to probably talk about in another trail mix or another podcast or something, is that our technology, our phones and our watches are super backups for stuff like this. So we'll be talking about that in the future.
Yeah. So lots of precautions to take. The key one I would say if you walk away with is just make sure somebody knows where you're going.
Yeah. And make sure that you're going someplace where you're comfortable going. And again, we've said this before, is there's no shame in changing your plans.
Nope.
Be flexible, and if you're going on a 3-mile hike and it's an in and out, a mile and a half in, you're like, I don't know that I can do a full, this full hike, then turn around and go back. There's no shame in that.
Because as far as you go out is how far you got to go back.
That's
so
right, yeah.
You don't want to be exhausted at the end of going out.
Right.
So remember that.
Yeah.
But, in the vein of, also hiking, there were questions about, can you take hiking sticks on the plane with you? And, can I put them in my carry-on? And there's interesting information about taking your hiking sticks with you. Now, I'm a driving person, so I'm always driving, and so I always have my hiking sticks. I can't even tell you that since I've retired, I have not flown anywhere to go hiking.
I haven't flown anywhere specifically to go hiking, but I have hiked while I've been someplace.
Yeah.
But, we're just going to tell you what TSA says. If you go on TSA's website and you look up specifically, can I take walking sticks on the plane, it says specifically carry-on bags, yes, checked bags, yes, but what it says is blunt-tipped walking sticks are allowed in carry-on or checked bags and must be screened like other property. Sharp-tipped walking sticks are not allowed carry-on items. And please note that even if an item is generally allowed, our officers make the final decision on whether an item is allowed through the checkpoint. So you got to check with your airline before you carry them on. And I have heard other people say that they were not allowed to take their hiking sticks on. So, you got to kind of weigh it. If you're going someplace like the Camino de Santiago in Spain,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
there's places there where you can buy a walking stick.
Or rent them.
Or two. Yeah. Or, or you, a lot of times if you pack them in your checked bag, they'll probably be okay. But
Yeah.
most of the time you can probably pick one up and they're not that expensive.
I mean, you just have to it's just like bear spray. Like a lot of the places I go to, because I tend to hike in the fall, in the winter, and the spring, where in places that have bears. It's like you can't take your bear spray on the plane, right? Can't do that. But a lot of these places have places where you can rent them, or they have share places that, you use it while you're there, and then when you're fixing to leave, you put it back in the same place, and, other people can get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So just, just be aware that TSA says yes, but when you get there, TSA may say no.
That's right. It's their prerogative.
Yeah.
It's my prerogative. Okay. Another question
No.
about... Well, you didn't do any Bobby Brown.
No. Next.
Can pets suffer from heat exhaustion, Monica?
Yes, they can.
Really? Tell me more about that.
Pets are just like us, and dogs. Most people. Okay, some of you may hike with cats. I don't know anybody that hikes with cats, but I have seen videos of people hiking with cats. Most people I know hike with dogs, and dogs are just as susceptible to heat exhaustion as humans are, probably even more so because of their little fur, and they don't really sweat. You want to keep a close eye on your dog, and if you're taking water for you, you need to make sure you take water for your dog.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are panting excessively and basically
tongue is
are
swollen?
lethargic, yes, you need to take them back.
Yeah, so be careful with that. Now, a lot of places, particularly national park sites, don't allow dogs on trails.
That's true.
You have to check that first, but if you're going to take your dog with you, be a responsible dog owner. Make sure you plan for them like you plan for yourself.
Yeah, because
And it'd be nice to have little pads, or what are those sock things called for dogs?
yeah. But if you're going to do that, if you're going
You
to do
have
that,
little dogs. My big
No,
dogs
no,
like
no.
them.
Did they? Because if you're gonna do those pads, you're gonna want to practice with them before you go hiking.
Well, yeah.
Because most dogs don't like that stuff on their paws. I'm sure you've all seen videos of the dogs walking around trying to shake them off their paws.
My dog never did
They've
that.
got to get used to them before they go out.
Well, and the reason why I guess maybe my dogs were more okay with it, and I had 2 golden retrievers, was because I had to have them in their little foot things because it was hot outside, like
Right.
to walk in the neighborhood.
Yes.
It was hot on their pads, so
Yeah.
it's like you had to protect them, so they got used to
Yeah, they
walking
got
in
used
them.
to it. I mean,
Yeah.
once a dog gets used to it, it's fine. But also, don't forget, I mean, dogs can get bitten by mosquitoes.
Yep.
Ticks. Ticks. You got to look for ticks. So, if you're going to hike with your dog or your cat or any animal, you just want to make sure that they're taken care of as well. Just saying.
Just saying, you got it. Okay, there was another question about when to know when to turn around on your hike. And I think we covered that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we
about,
did.
Especially when you're by yourself, and I'll tell you what, there was one hike that I went on. I can't remember the park that it was in now, but I was with a group of 4 people. It was 4 of us, and we got to a point, and I'm one of those hikers that if I see it all just going uphill in front of me, I get discouraged. And it was hot, me not good, and I'm like, the fun has left me, and so I think I need to stop and turn around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys can continue. Of course, the person I was with was like, no, we'll go back. I'm like, we can just hang here, walk around in this general area, but I'm not going up there because I don't think my body can take it. So.
Right. And that's the whole thing, is you just have to be aware of your limitations.
And you're not trying to prove anything to anybody.
That's right.
That's why we say hike your own hike.
That's right. You hike your own hike. And one of the things that when I first started hiking that I would forget is that if you're paying attention, is it an in and out trail or is it a loop?
Yeah.
Okay, if you see that it's a loop and the loop is 3 miles long, then it's 3 miles from beginning to all the way back to where you are. Okay, it's a loop. You know it's 3 miles, and you know most of the time there's markers on trails. Sometimes there's not, but you know generally when you
If you're
feel
using
like,
all trails, you'll know.
yeah, you know, whatever it is you're using, you'll find out. You'll figure it out. Is it on your watch? I've walked 0.75 mile. The loops are a little easier. When it's an in-out, you've got to remember that if it's telling you it's an in-out and it's 3 miles one way, that's a 6 mile hike, okay? So if you hike all the way to the end of the 3 miles, you got to hike 3 miles back.
That's right. Don't exhaust yourself on the out.
So don't forget that. You've got to look at the way the description is describing the hike.
Yeah.
If it says, 2 miles total in out, that means it's 1 mile in and 1 mile back.
And I have to say, the thing about it is that there is not consistency on how it's reflected in any type of map, even national park maps and visitor guides and things like that. It is not written the same way. So you really have to almost ask about, is this a one-way? Is it a loop? What's this mileage reflecting? So you want to make sure that you know that. But again, what you exert going out is what you're going to exert kind of going back. So you just judge it for yourself and hike your own hike.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, there was also a question about how many state parks there were. And I was amazed at how many state parks there are in this country.
I was too.
Because it's a chunk.
Anybody have a guess? Guess? Would you believe there are nearly 10,000 state parks across the United States?
10,000.
10,000 state parks.
52 states, 10,000 parks.
That's crazy.
You do the math.
That's crazy.
It's a lot. So the great thing is that on our website, we talked about it too, is that we have a link to a website that is americastateparks.org that you can access all of the state parks that are here in our country, which is wonderful because we're not just about national parks, it's state parks too.
Sure.
So that's a great place for you to go and find what is closest to you, because we had somebody ask about what was close to them in a particular state, and it's like, that's where I would go. I would go to the state park website and go, okay, what state are you in? What's nearest to me? And what are the rules and regulations, or what types of activities do they have? Because there's a ton of things to do out there.
Right. And that's, again, I hate to keep, we're not sponsored by All Trails, although if you wanted to sponsor us, you could. But one of the beautiful things about All Trails is you can go in, even on the free one, even on the free version, because you can download it for free. You can put it in, hikes near me or hikes near San Antonio or hikes for wherever you are, and it will come back with all the hikes that are near you, and you can scroll through them. Some people take pictures of the hikes while they're hiking, and then they upload the pictures so you can kind of see what it looks like. They break it down into mild, moderate, hard, difficult, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, in your state parks, they cover state parks, city parks, municipal parks. Those 10,000 parks that we mentioned, that doesn't even cover any municipal parks, state-sanctioned or state-covered parks that aren't state parks.
Heritage sites.
It doesn't cover any of that.
Yeah, so a plethora of things out there for everybody to take advantage of.
Lots of stuff.
Resources, and so we've got links for those on our website as well, so make sure you check us out at twochickswithhikingsticks.com.
Yep.
And then lastly, there were questions about what type of park passes should you have. And I know Monica and I are of the same vein that we both have national park passes and we have state passes, right? And I have to dig mine out. Hold on, where's mine?
She's going to do a show and tell.
Here's my Texas State Park one, Texas. And then I have my... Should have probably had these out before.
You probably should have, yeah.
Oh, not my Barnes & Noble. Nope,
not the Barnes & Noble.
But then my America the Beautiful Pass. So
mine are in my car.
These passes, for me, because I'm under the age of 62, I know the white hair may not say so, but I'm under the age of 62. But these are annual passes that I got. So the NPS pass is like $80, and then the Texas State Park Pass is what, $70, I think?
Yeah, the state park pass is $70, and if you're a camper, it's free admission for everybody, you in your car. It's in you in your car when you're going to a state park. And if you're camping, they've got coupons attached to the card, so that are like, if you camp 2 nights, then you can get one free or half price or something. You need to check, mostly discounts, but you also get discounts at the park store and on any kind of equipment rentals. And I think for the America the Beautiful Pass, I got my senior pass when I turned 62.
Yeah, because when you turn 62, you can get
It's a lifetime pass.
Well, because you can get the discounted annual pass for $20, but why do that when you can just pay $80 and get a lifetime pass?
And it's good for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that's for all national parks and I think national forests, right?
I don't know if it applies to national forests. And definitely it's under all the MPS units, so the 433 are covered under there.
Right.
The good thing, too, is that if you're military or if there's they have a 4th grade pass, they have a volunteer pass, like if you volunteer at the parks, you're free.
Yeah.
There is no cost for you to have a pass.
So yeah, $80 sounds like a chunk of change, but it's good for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to have another pass to get into the national parks.
62. Yeah.
At least for now.
Yeah. You never know. That
It's
might
good
change.
for now.
That's right. But the other thing too, and talking about some of the reciprocals that are out there, because if you donate to or become a member of, say, the Death Valley Conservancy, I think it is, or the Rocky Mountain Conservation, or the Shenandoah Valley Conservancy. Those types of things, if you become members of, and pick a park, whichever cause you believe in, Yosemite has a conservancy, you can then use that as a reciprocal in terms of getting discounts at stores in various different places.
I am big on my park passes. I have museum passes. I have the Botanical Gardens pass.
You can use those for all sorts of things.
And you can, if the museums are on a specific, I don't remember the museum organization, but if they're all on the same one, you can check when you go in there, and I've got no shame about checking. I'm like, do y'all do reciprocal with San Antonio Museum of Art or the McNay or whatever here in San Antonio? And they say yes. A lot of times you can get in free. Sometimes you have a discount. Same thing with the Botanical Gardens. And the Botanical Gardens, if they're large, like the one here in San Antonio, they've got hiking trails. There's a hiking trail there. Yeah. So what a great place to hike. I mean, because you can see all the garden stuff. You can do a hike. They probably got a shop. Some of them have little cafes. What a great way to spend a day. And if you've got a pass to one, more than likely it's going to reciprocate with other botanical gardens.
So if you're supporting any of those local places in your hood, right, they generally will have a list of who they reciprocate with and what they reciprocate for. Sometimes it is about the entry fee. Sometimes it is about other, buying things in their stores or what have you. That's the ideal thing to take advantage of. And again, we like supporting some of those causes that are near and dear to our hearts. And then you also get a little bit more out of it.
That's right. One more that I was looking, and I couldn't find it earlier, but my friend Debbie had mentioned a San Antonio Library Adventure Pack.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
And I want to say that I have seen them in other libraries, public libraries. So it might be something that you want to look for. I saw one for Colorado that had an adventure pass, and you can check out a pass that will let you in free to like a million places, other botanical gardens and zoos and museums. So
check your local area.
Check your local library, because there are some awesome resources there that I bet you didn't know about.
Yeah.
That have to do with the outdoors, that have to do with camping or hiking or whatever. It's just a great resource that I never would have thought of at all.
I never would have thought about my public library doing that. Nope.
Me neither. But what a joy, man! What a great resource to use, especially in times when money's a little bit tight.
Yeah.
Great resources.
Absolutely. So take advantage of those. Look those up in your area. Again, we're here to promote the cultural, the historical, and the natural. And in terms of doing that, it's really utilizing the resources that are at your disposal to help that make it more accessible for you.
Yeah.
So I think that covers a lot of the trail mixy questions that we got.
Yeah, I think so. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to know more about a subject, or you've gone back and you've watched a couple of episodes and you're like, how did this happen?
We can
drop
tell
us a
you.
comment. Yeah, drop us a comment. Send us a message. We'll try to get it on the next trail mix.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you like us and want to support us, be sure you subscribe to our podcast here on YouTube and also anywhere that you get your podcasts.
Give us a
Okay, so you can
thumbs
get it
up.
on Apple, you can get it on Spotify, you can get notifications as well. And then we have merch. You can always get that. We have a description in our, we have a link in our description. And you can buy us a coffee.
You can buy us a coffee at Buy Me a Coffee.
Yeah.
And
And be sure to check out our blog too on our website. So
We've got a lot of information out there and a lot of ways to be able to support us if you appreciate our content. And we really appreciate y'all checking in
Absolutely.
and reading and listening and doing all that stuff.
thanks for hanging with us. And I guess until next time, make sure you
Hike
hike
your
your
own
own hike. And we'll check y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.